Hello YouTube, hi. So this is what is to be my first speaking video on YouTube by Only Truth Prevails and myself. And hi, this is me introducing myself. I'm not going to show what I look like just yet, but maybe I will one day. What can I say? So, I have a lot to talk about in general, and it's impossible sometimes to know where to start. There's a hell of a lot going on in this world. I don't have to tell most of you guys on YouTube. The most informed community in the whole world, I think. It's a very interesting and a very useful tool, and you know, it's somewhat vital to our sharing of information. Isn't it crazy how the world now is? There's a few of us who have seen this stuff for years. There's a few of us who are just seeing this stuff. There's a fair few of the whole world who don't see anything yet. You know, we have a hell of a battle in front of us. So this is me just wanting to upload something of myself. And I will be looking into more of this kind of stuff. But yeah, there is a whole community on YouTube that is completely aware about this stuff, what's been going on in the world, why, most importantly, why it's been going on in the world. And it's not something you can run away from. It's not something you can hide away from. You know, it's there. It's all around us all the time. You can't help but see it when you know these things. Okay. I have a long list of subs I am ever grateful for, and I will shout you guys out at some point, who have helped me with my knowledge for years, you know, about this stuff. And if it wasn't for YouTube, I might not even woke up, you know. Okay, so one of the kind of things I wanted to talk about today was kind of, where do I start? Well, I thought, why not start from the beginning? Okay, well, you know, we're brought into this world. Is it that simple? No. You know, I mean, what were your experiences as a child? You know, can you remember? Some of us can't even remember beyond the age of 5, you know, before the age of 5, you know. What experiences did you have? Do you remember growing up? Did things seem odd to you in this world? You know, what were your personal thoughts on everything that you saw when you got out into the world and you had a look around and you saw it for what it was? What were your instincts about people, about the world in general, about what you were told? You know, because I remember a lot of stuff from back then when I was just very young. For instance, I mean, you know, not all this stuff is going to be absolutely right or absolutely true, but I do believe, you know, very much I'm one of these people, you know, believe in your gut instincts. Your gut always tells you, you know, if there's somebody that's not right or if there's a wrong situation, you will be informed via your inner self, kind of thing. And I was, you know, from a young age, I remember thinking things like, you know, I was getting taken out to parks and stuff by my nan and my granddad, grandma and grandpa, UK's version. You know, I would get taken out to parks and I would go and see stuff in the area and different parks and different places, and I would always come back and I was always disappointed. You know, I was always disappointed. I was like, yeah, we went to the park and it was good, but I don't feel like I've seen all of it yet, you know? I always like, where's the rest of it? I know there's a lot of this stuff I'm not being shown yet. Where's the rest of it, kind of thing, you know? I kind of knew from being 3-4 years old, there was a heck of a lot of stuff I hadn't seen. And I almost felt as if I was being shown a very small amount of what that actually was. And I know this is true of the world, okay? I know there's a big wide world out there. We haven't seen all of it unless we've gone traveling the world. Yes, but I always felt as if yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm not seeing here, you know, from being a very young age. And I didn't accept that initially, that this was all there was, you know. Even after that and growing up in the world, I thought, so this is all there is. There is nothing else. And I was never convinced. Okay. Now, what do you guys think about? Were you ever convinced that this was it? You know, I suppose you get to an age and you accept it. But, you know, for me, I wasn't satisfied that this was all that there was in the world. Not by far, you know, not by far. And I know why that is now. You know, guys, you know, I absolutely know why that is now, because you're either, you know, you're either tuned into it or you're not, you know. You either know where you come from or you don't, you know. So I would be interested to see what a lot of my subs, what you guys think on this subject. Were you always aware that there was more out there? You know, were you always a deep thinker? You know, what else? When I was a young kid, around 3 or 4, I really thought I could fly. Okay, now I know that's not true. Okay, human beings can't fly in the sense of the word. You can jump out the window and fly. Yeah, but I really believed that I could when I was about 3 or 4. You know, and it's this whole world of, you know, perception. Maybe as a child, you know, we have memories that we don't actually forget of maybe our soulful beings, our beings that we were before we were brought into this world. You understand? Like, if we're angels, maybe I can remember flying as an angel and I was convinced that I could still fly on this earth. You know, things like this ring true to me. And I only began thinking about all this stuff in the last couple of years, when I started to realize what, you know, which way, in which direction this world was taken. And that actually, yes, everything is true. You know, everything that you're told is true. Even though, you know, the whole world wants to deny it and the whole world wants to turn it away, because it's almost become a natural disposition, isn't it? If you're told something, like from a young age, and you see it as an authoritarian thing, maybe you link it to kind of people telling you what you should do, which is exactly what I think's happened with Christianity. You are more likely to reject that idea than accept that idea, correct? Yeah, well, you know, of course, everybody's heard about religion through the years, and, you know, everybody, well, before kind of today's world, you know, a lot of people, especially in the UK and America, as I can gather, you know, did have, you know, Christian tradition, you know, did have regular church and stuff, you know, and the kids that were being brought into the world kind of went along with it. If, you know, if the beliefs weren't reinforced by the family and you weren't shown these things, the kids are kind of, oh, well, I'm not interested, you know. Oh, right, that just sounds like a load of mumbo jumbo. It's not interesting to me. It's boring. It's controlling. Let's move away from it. You know, it's exactly the thing that's been happening, I think. And this is influence, okay? And I believe it's not accidental influence, okay, on religion, on Christianity, at all. Yeah, my mum was brought up and she went to Sunday school. My nan was a Christian, was a very, you know, very good Christian, you know, kept the Bible beside her at all times. She'd had a lot of experiences throughout her life, and she knew that the Bible would protect her. You know, and she tried to pass that down to me when I was a little girl. And she used to tell me about all the wonderful things in the world, and, you know, the birds, the trees, you know, all this kind of stuff. She used to tell me about magical things as well, like fairies and yeah, kind of stuff like that. And, you know, she says, don't forget that there's magic in the world, okay? There's a creator. She says, look at the beautiful birds, look at the beautiful trees, look at the beautiful flowers, okay? Don't forget about this stuff, okay? So she instilled that in me from a very young age. And I almost forgot about it. I almost did. Oh. But it's interesting, you know, when real life occurs to you and you go back in your memories and you think, wow, this stuff was all told to me. years and years ago, you know. Did you see that? And there was an orb. We get a lot of that in here, especially when we're you know, talking about God or anything like that. Yeah, so it's interesting, the world and the way that's perceived. Okay, there's also instances, I know, you know, where people are brought up completely godless, completely, they don't have any belief of anything spiritual happening. And it's a shame. It's a shame they don't actually believe there's anything outside of the world, you know. And it's a very shallow kind of thing to live in, you know. It's a very, it mustn't be good, you know. I lived like that for a long time, you know, kind of believing, because kind of by the time I got to 11, like the whole world had crashed down around me, you know. And everybody says, oh, you know, there's no magic in the world, there's no Santa Claus, there's no Easter Bunny, you know. And I was like, I was gutted, you know. I was absolutely depressed at age 11, thinking, well, where's the magic, you know. You have to grow up, you have to do a normal job, and there's no magic. And this is the lie, okay? This is the lie that we are told to believe, and this is the lie that we are, you know, shown to believe. Okay, but it is